In The Matrix, the concept of bullet time was established, at least in the filmmaking, not yet in the movie timeline, but we'd established it using bullets from Neo's point of view, because in bullet time, the audience is taking a subjective ride with that character's perception of time slowing way down relative to their own sort of hyper speed. But one of the last scenes to develop the sound on was without any bullets or guns, where Trinity attacks these policemen that are about to arrest her. And in order to make the moment work, I experimented with using Trinity's, Carrie-Anne Moss's Kiao, and sort of pitch ramping that down, but it didn't work. And I think it was clear that it didn't seem subjective because it was her own voice, you know, transforming from her perspective. So we tried doing something with this cop's voice that just before she kicks him, and I manipulated the production sound. But the sound, it gets very trashy. The audio falls apart and wasn't interesting. So we ADR'd this cop. I think it's group, and then experimented with doing pitch ramps using this program Sound Hack, which was the best pitch shifting tool available then. But it sounded beautiful, but it was very time consuming to use. You couldn't save any of your settings, so I would make all these dots with a pitch ramp and then render it, which I remember taking at least 10 minutes for each render on the stage as I'm trying to get this thing put together. But if it didn't work, I had written all the little dots on graph paper, like 16th-inch graph paper, that I put into the program. And when I did a new one, I would put all the dots in the same place, except a few in a different place, and then re-render it, wait another 10, 15 minutes. One of the earlier takes almost worked, but the timing was right, but it even though it fits the actual frame apes on camera, it didn't feel appropriate for the sound. And then another one I did, the timing is right, but the texture was kind of synthetic and ugly sounding, which is kind of neat. I mean, in more of a sci-fi universe, it would have been cool. But then I think this was actually like the 7th attempt at rendering. This was, and the sound of his voice using Sound Hack at that, and this is many octaves down, had a great resonance to kind of shake the room. So in the movie, I knew that was all we were going to hear, but then I had to do a separate file coming back up to speed once I got this first one done, and then eventually I sunk them up to picture and crossfaded for this effect. And Greg Rudloff, the effects mixer, basically just sort of spread that sound and EQ'd it enough to bring out the weight of it. And that's pretty much all that you hear, is just the one track ramping down and the track ramping back up. So in the final mix, this is what you're hearing. So it created a really great moment in the storytelling where you're kind of feeling the concept of how different this world is than the one that the audience is used to. But it took a bit of experimentation, and it was certainly a eureka moment when it worked.